Kotzen. It's been with me, your host, Joe Royland. Today on the show, finally getting around to talking about some of those albums from last year that I, for whatever reason, didn't get a chance to get around to talking about. And first off, you may have noticed, hey, look, new camera. Should be way clearer in the video. Finally got to get around to getting a new camera this year. I've been wanting to for a year. Finally made it happen. And yeah, my hair's a little flat because it's wearing a hat all day. It's fucking cold outside. But anyway, today on the show, one of those records that long overdue in getting around to, the sophomore release from the Winery Dogs and their new album, Hot Streak. Of course, Winery Dogs is the power trio of Richie Kotzen on guitars, lead vocals, and keyboards, Billy Sheehan on bass and backing vocals, and Mike Portnoy on drums and backing vocals. All of those guys have an extensive musical pedigree, and if you want to find out more about them, I'm going to go back and watch episode 17 of the show, way back in the first season, where we covered the band's debut album, and we'll just leave it at that. That'll be the Reader's Digest version for you. But straight out of the gate, I'm going to tell you that if you dug the Winery Dogs debut album, you're going to love Hot Streak just as much, if not even more. The album barrels open with a full-on assault of Oblivion, barn burner of a track, before slipping into more mid-tempo track territory with Captain Love, which has a bit of a sweet AC/DC-like swagger to it. Next up is tricky time-shifting funk of the album's title track, Hot Streak, which rolls into the equally groovy How Long on a more nice thumping bass line from Billy Sheehan. And that's something this album offers up in comparison to the debut, exploring some different musical avenues and different stylistic streets. Songs having more R&B and funk and soul and jazzy influences to them than the debut did. Not that there wasn't that stuff on the debut, but there's a couple of lengthy workout jams on this album. Tracks like Empire with a sizzling slide guitar solo from Richie Kotzen. And it's about midway through the album before things start to downshift into a more mellow territory, and the very soulful acoustic-driven track Fire, which has some nice Spanish-style flamenco flourishes to it. But, then it's right back into the driving rock with the album's next track, the one you're hearing right now, the atmospheric Ghost Town, which kind of moves along on an appropriately titled haunting vocal delivery and just shifts gears between kind of mellow and funky rock, as you can hear. One of the album's highlights for me, definitely. And that's followed by a track called The Bridge, which kicks off with some nice interplay between Mike Portnoy's drumming and Billy Sheehan's bass, before Kotzen slides in and adds some of his own guitar firepower to the track. And back then we kind of ease back up on the gas a little bit with a slinky rocker War Machine, bit of a mid-tempo number, and then spiral into a song of the same name via Sheehan's slipper string work, which kind of finds more of that mid-tempo rock territory. Next up after that is a track called The Devil You Know, which hits the accelerator and the gas again, a kind of a Van Halen boogie and barn burner number, and another album highlight for me. After that, we've got Think It Over, which brings us to Kotzen's Philly soul roots, which is where he's from. And it's kind of stuff he does really well, not just musically, but also vocally. Guy just has a voice delivered for soul. It's just, I love Richie Kotzen's voice, aside from his phenomenal guitar playing. Say no more. And after that, the album closes out on the epic song The Lamb, which clocks in at just under 7 minutes, and what a way to go out. And I just blew through that whole album really quick, but I'm trying to get the show done. But needless to say, Hot Streak definitely shows growth in the band, both artistically, and it's just another winner for them. My good friend Gino Ames, my brother, over at the Riff of the Day, says it is right up there with his top albums of the year, if not his top album of the year. He loves it. He thinks it's even way better than the first one. Myself, I don't know what took me so long to get into it, but I'll be honest, the first couple of times I heard it, I wasn't quite feeling it. Probably because I was just really preoccupied with an oncoming baby at the time, and just everything else that was going on. But now that I finally have a chance to give this album a fair shake and its due diligence and really listen to it, I gotta say I'm right on board with it. And the new album, Hot Streak from the Winery Dogs, one you should go out and get, especially if you just love good rocket from a great power trio. Hopefully you also caught the band's tribute that I posted to the late David Bowie, Moon Age Daydream. They did a fine version of that. It's up there still on the site if you want to go and check that out. Really great version of the song. And David Bowie, man, what a loss. One of my biggest musical influences stuff. I'm gonna try not to break up just talking about him. Hopefully we'll be getting around to reviewing his new album Black Star pretty soon. I might have to put that off because it's still just a little too close and too raw for me. It was real. I really took Bowie's passing hard, man. I'm not gonna lie. Which obviously, if you noticed from like the bazillion posts I posted about it, but Back to the Winery Dogs. If you dig this album, please be sure you also check out a couple of fine interviews from some of our fellow friends' podcasts. Eric Miller over at Pods and Sods has great interviews with Billy Sheehan and Mike Portnoy. And the Decibel Geek podcast also has a great interview with Billy Sheehan. I posted links to those way back last fall when they happened, but you can still go back to those sites and check out those interviews. It's great stuff. Be sure you do that. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time on Sit and Spin. And as always, give all those folks, the other people I share their stuff, give them the same love you give me, and we'll catch you next time on Sit and Spin, where we'll have at least one more catch-up album from last year. Until then, see you next time. Take it easy.